Welcome to a brief opportunity to expand your network and hear from industry experts who will prompt you to think analytically, critically, and creatively. I'm Kathy Francis, Executive Director of the Frederick Community College Mid-Atlantic Center for Emergency Management and Public Safety. We've partnered with Anthem Planning Incorporated to showcase the value of scholarly and industry partnerships and bring you a short interview series to spark new ideas and make new connections. So join me to welcome Amy Lepore, President of Anthem Planning. Amy?
Kathy, we are enjoying working with your team. I am Amy Lepore from Anthem Planning, and at Anthem, we like to say we work with clients at the intersection of policy and technology. One of our partners also engaged in supporting clients through technology transition is here with us today. Josh Clemente is the Chief Operating Officer of Proud to Serve Solutions. He has more than 24 years of experience in public service at all levels of government, including 20 years of experience specifically in 911, public safety, and the emergency communications industry. Josh is a National Emergency Number Association member and has been a certified EMP since 2006. Josh's direct experience includes project management and executive oversight of technical assistance projects for mission-critical telecommunications systems for local, state, and federal government. Josh owns and operates Proud to Serve with his wife, Stacy. Josh and Stacy are both United States Army veterans and Penn State University alumni. Josh, thank you so much again for being here with us. Tell us a bit more about yourself.
Yeah, thank you, ladies. Thanks for having me. I think you pretty much encapsulated it all, but I am a project manager by trade, but focused in the public safety industry for nearly all of my professional career. And I think you said it very well, Amy. Connecting public safety with technology is specifically the area that I play in. And actively right now working on 5 different projects doing that very thing. All in the either next gen 911, automated systems, public safety radio systems, and some operational initiatives as well.
Well, Josh, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Many in our audience have worked with or will work with an external project manager as they improve upon technologies in their organization. So what tips can you offer them to ensure that the relationship is successful?
Great question. And honestly, it's one of the probably most difficult challenges you can have with a client sometimes is getting that relationship underway. And the tips, as you mentioned, it's really different for every client. Because we are a service-based industry, there's no real recipe that works everywhere. You have to be flexible. But I'd say the biggest thing is you want to make sure that you get everything out on the table, overshare if necessary, going both ways. There's so many times that you run into a challenge or some obstacle on a project that you end up finding out, gee, if we had only had this discussion earlier on in the process, this would have not been an issue at all. And you have to be open to change. The nature of what we do, connecting public safety with technology, you have to be able to, on both sides, both operationally and from a technology perspective, be willing to accept, new tools. It's really an attitude thing. At the end of the day, you have to keep the mission in mind, though. It's not implementing technology for technology's sake. You're doing something to improve your operations or whatever it is that you're doing. In most cases, in working with police or fire type organizations, their mission at the end of the day is to get help where it's needed, when it's needed. And everything that we do to help implement should facilitate that very thing. So that's probably the best advice I could give someone in that regard.
Organizations have a lot of work on their hands when it comes time for them to select a project manager, and they sift through many proposals which express skills and capabilities in all different kinds of ways. we're wondering, in your experience, Josh, what are the key skills or attributes that an organization should look for when they're seeking a project manager?
Wow. So if I was going to hire someone to be a PM, I've modeled what I do after so many different people or things or strategies that I've found to be effective over the years. I think you really want experience in as many different settings as possible. You want someone that, they don't have any limitations about working in whatever, because I've been doing this for, again, over 20 years. And specifically in the public safety industry, I don't think I've ever had the same day twice. There are really so many variables to take into account. You have to be adaptable. You have to be able to adapt to whatever the environment is. And to consider yourself experienced or able to be successful, I think you really need exposure to things that push you outside of your comfort zone. And you got to be willing to listen to people. Someone who, it's really at the end of the day, we're all people. It's dealing with people. That's what makes these projects successful. So you got to be able to relate and listen and interpret what you're hearing and be able to, which I struggle with at times, is take what is in your mind that you know can be successful, but really be able to orate that. And that can be difficult as well. So someone that's comfortable speaking, comfortable dealing with people, and has been there. They have many different experiences that they can pull from to get creative at times when it's necessary, which it often is.
Well, Josh, thank you. Project management encompasses a series of skill sets that must be achieved to be successful. Can you walk us through some of the training and experiences that are important to a person who's seeking to become a project manager?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is formal training available in the project management discipline. The Project Management Institute facilitates a program that ultimately results in some certifications. They are valuable. I have a PMP certification, project management professional certification, but they have other levels of that certification program that people can go after, and I would certainly encourage that. But you don't want to swallow that whole necessarily. It is techniques and it's tools. It's very metric driven. That training program is, and at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily suit everybody. So it's meant to give you a framework of what it is that that makes for a successful project. But really, you need to be able to adapt that to, again, what is the mission? What is it that you're setting out to do? And you have to be open to changes, not be so rigid. I've worked with many clients that say, well, this is how this works. That's the only way we can do X, Y, Z, whatever it is. And that sort of attitude just tends to lend itself to projects that take longer, maybe cost more money, and ultimately may not be successful. So it's really, again, I keep coming back to the word adaptability. You have to be able to adapt to many different surroundings, environments. And a lot of that comes from, in my background, working under other PMs for a number of years, either as a technical resource or maybe just assisting in the project management realm and learning from them, and sometimes learning what not to do, but pulling from them, anybody and everybody, what you feel that might make you successful in that project or in your career. So again, the training's a plus. The certification programs are available through PMI, and that's of course not the only one. It's the one I'm most familiar with. There's others out there like Agile. I would definitely encourage those, because it's not even so much the certification, but going through the process and the thought that it provokes and lets you reflect on some of your own experiences can be very helpful. But at the end of the day, you've got to be able to apply that to what you've learned and apply it into the real world as best you see fit. And for me, I have a military background. That's been very served me well throughout my public safety and project management career as well.
A quick follow-on to the question about skill sets. And as you just mentioned, Josh, you're a veteran. So during our last interview, we spoke with another veteran, Dylan Griffith, who spoke a lot about transitioning his skills from the military and into the civilian world. Can you talk a bit about how your military career has informed your role as a project manager now?
Yeah, certainly. There's a lot of parallels in what I do, and even all the folks that we work with. You mentioned Dylan. It's real. There's a high concentration of veterans, it seems, in the public safety industry, and particularly with consulting firms such as Proud to Serve. And it's really just, I think, an alignment of the values that most veterans tend to have. You know, do what you say, mean what you say, following through on whatever your commitments are, planning and teamwork. You know, those are two big things, and just general organizational skills that are very basic in the service, and that you're able to come back to, or I can point to my time spent in the military where those were really instilled in me. So that at the end of the day, you may not have the answer to everything. You may not be able to, immediately answer a question that a client may be putting you on the spot for. But your adaptability and your ability to overcome challenges is just inherently ingrained into you. And again, I trace that back to my military service.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you again for your service.
Thank you.
Josh, we also thank you for your career and military service. We greatly appreciate that. And thank you for joining us today and helping us to showcase the best and the brightest minds in the field to help us break down those fast-moving technologies and keep tabs on industry trends. So to our audience, we invite you to join us every week for your Monday briefing, tips and tricks from our experts to help you expand your network and make implementing technology that much easier. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.